I'll go through my usual. Most of you know me, but my name is Norma Jean. And if you're new here, this is the National Lifeforce Canada Education Think Tank. And Lifeforce Canada is more than just education. Our mission is to protect our freedoms and rights, which, you know, we all need to get together and do these days. So we're a platform that's made up of Canadians from across the nation who volunteer their time and energy to help create the Canadian Restoration Plan, which will be an empowered future for all of us. So we work together and collaboratively as a nation. We work separately as provinces and individually as counties, but always with the same purpose of creating a restoration plan for a new Earth. So if you haven't already, we encourage you to join Lifeforce Canada and learn more about the many initiatives and things that we have going on throughout the country. I became the facilitator of this think tank back in September because I'm very passionate about education. I've been in the public school system for 20 years until the end of last school year when I retired. I have supported children with special needs. I've worked as a behavior interventionist with kids with autism, and I'm also a reading and spelling specialist. And I also have two boys who struggled with the public school system growing up. Even though they're very bright and creative, they just were not the round pegs in the, they were the round pegs in the square holes. So, so I know what it's like, and I think we are all aware that we're overdue to move away from the current model of education. And that's why this think tank was created, is to support all of us, whether we're parents, teachers, support staff, or grandmas, or just simply someone who cares about the future of our kids and the future of humanity. So we meet every week just to talk about alternative education systems that are already in place, things that we've heard about. We often have guest speakers that share things that they're doing or have done. And you know, it's just a good place to come and be with like-minded people. And I should also just remind anybody who's new, that we have created, actually, Marianne, why don't you tell them about the education portal tonight?
Sure. So the education portal was a website that I dreamed up, database backed, to help connect parents and homeschoolers and grandparents and anybody involved with educating children directly to educators, including teachers, tutors, people who've never been formally trained as teachers but have a lot of experience in an area, as well as a place to find the kinds of classes and courses you might not find in the public school system. So holistic health classes, nutrition classes, almost old-fashioned home ec classes, anything like that. And we also encourage alternative schools, education pods, and any new startup services to help people who are leaving the public school system, whether they're parents or teachers, get started on a new path and help all of us come together and reimagine how education can be. So we've got a blog attached to this education portal where we try to highlight both homeschooling help how-to kind of articles. I'm hoping to bring some more teachers on board who can have firsthand experience with teaching, who can give almost like coaching articles on certain topics, different topics, as well as homeschoolers who have done it, who are willing to share the materials they've made or their experiences along the way, how to do homeschooling for the people who are just starting out. And on Thursdays, we also feature innovative educators and innovative approaches to education. And Norma Jean kindly summarizes our meetings and posts her own article about that every Monday. And yeah, we'll just expand from there. Trying to get into a steady routine of publishing so that we can drive more traffic to the portal. And right now, we are definitely looking for people to help us promote. Get people making posts, help people understand how to make posts, or we're now calling them listings in our directory, and help spread the word that people can search there and use it for free as well. So if you know of any teachers or if you know of any ways or groups we should be connecting with to help get the word out, please let us know.
Yes, I think that that's our biggest obstacle right now is outreach and spreading the word, because the portal seems to be working well. It's functioning really good, but it's only as good as the people that that make offerings or are doing searches on it. So we really encourage people, if you're involved in any kind of education program, to make an offering on there. If you know of people that are looking to step away or have already stepped away and maybe they need some resources, maybe you can send them our way, because there's also resources on there and people listing resources on there. So any help we would get in that respect would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
A special call out to people who are retired or people who are substitute teachers who want to make supplementary income. This is a great way to do it. And I think there's a misconception. People say, oh, well, I'm already registered and using this website over here that's just for teachers in my province. Great. It'll take 2 minutes to write up your own posting on our listing as well. And that will help both areas attract traffic. We're not in competition with anyone else. We're trying to help promote the whole movement of alternative education for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think that's a hard thing for some, a lot of people that I've talked to about it, is they feel like we're in competition, and we're not. We built this simply to be of service, to try and offer solutions to people that might be feeling a bit like they don't know where to turn, right? And so, yeah, anyways, it's a beautiful site. So if you're not on there, have a look. And if you're on there, bless your hearts. Spread the word, you guys. So if this is your first time, I think everybody knows that there's a reaction spot down along the bottom of the screen where you can raise your hand if you have any questions or comments. And I think that is usually the most efficient way to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. Hang on, just let these people in. There we go. Do we have new faces here tonight? I always like it if somebody's new, if they take a moment and just introduce themselves, tell us where you're tuning in from, what brought you here tonight. But Paulette, have you been here before? Pamela, I don't think you've been here before, have you?
Oh, this is my first time.
Oh.
So I found out about the Zoom through a Telegram channel called Freedom School BC. And
right.
I'm on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. I'm an occupational therapist. Going to be terminated in a couple of weeks, actually. So just trying to recalibrate, figure out what else I can do to offer my services or move into the private sector. We'll see. So
is that still happening after today's announcement?
Yeah, it is. BC, I don't know who else is here in BC, but we're a little bit digging our heels in, apparently.
It's incomprehensible, isn't it? All the other provinces are loosening up, and our medical officer decided that she just gave an arm's length list of health practitioners that have to be jabbed by the 23rd, 24th of this month. I mean, chiropractors, dental assistants, OTs, physiotherapists, acupuncturists, like it's just so ridiculous. And I can't imagine what's going to happen to our healthcare system, but I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
We do have a whole section on the portal that we were just talking about that is for special needs. So you might, if you wanted to work privately, you could even put that on there as an offering. You work with children often? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to networking here.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you. Thanks for coming. Lynn, I think you've been here before. Paulette, I don't know if you're there yet. Have you been here before, Paulette?
Hi there. No, this is my first time. I've been to other Life Force meetings, but it's my first time here.
And where are you located? Like, where are you?
I'm in Edmonton.
You're in Edmonton.
Yeah, and I have a 14-year-old boy I've been homeschooling, but I'm looking for more ideas.
Oh, okay. We'll be sure to check out the portal as well.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And 14, so grade 9. Grade 9?
Grade 9.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Paulette,
We're very happy to have you.
Paulette, are you with a homeschooling board or are you just completely independently homeschooling?
Well, I'm with Education Unlimited.
Hmm.
So I believe it's Airdrie Christian Academy is the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you start doing that when COVID hit, or is it something that you're new to, or a long time, or?
No, I'm pretty new. I had my son in the Glow Wild school. I took him out in the beginning of October, and I had him in that for a couple months, but it kind of ended. They switched locations, and so I've had him home, but haven't been very successful with getting programming or anything going. So I'm just looking for options. He's wanting now to go back into the school system because of not having friends around and being isolated. So I'm just looking at different options right now.
We have a Telegram page that's for youth. I don't know if you know about that or not. I will try.
No.
I'll try and put that in the chat for you. But so we're trying to help the teens connect, because I feel like they're suffering a lot. You know, the younger kids, things just kind of go past them a little. They kind of, you know, duck water on a duck's back a little bit more. But the teens are feeling really isolated. And so we're looking at options for how we can connect them. And there is, you say you're in Edmonton. I know the one boy that's on our Telegram page, he's in Calgary. And he also did an interview with me, and then we made a bunch of TikToks. And so he's on our TikTok channel as well. I don't know if you know that we have one. So I don't know, maybe your son would like to connect and do something like that, and just have a chance to talk about how he's feeling and the things that have been hard for him through COVID, what he'd like to say to our Prime Minister, all that kind of stuff. And
okay.
TikTok star. And then there's also an organization that's got a much bigger platform, and it's kind of like a Zoom platform for teenagers, and it's nationwide. And then they also have a page that kind of looks like a Facebook page, but it's private. So if you put your email in the chat, Paulette, I will contact you and give you more information about that if you're interested.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd be happy to do that. I think that's everybody that's new tonight. Please tell me if I've made a mistake. I think that's everyone. So have you guys heard of Brain Gym, the Brain Gym program? It is a proven approach that addresses and incorporates the often overlooked physical components of learning, so visual, auditory, motor, and stress management skills. And it started as a method to help remedial learners become stronger readers, but it's morphed into something much bigger, and is now a program that has helped thousands of people in over 80 countries around the world to discover their peak mental and inner strength. So we are lucky in that one of our members, Rita, a retired teacher, this is something that she's familiar with, and something that she even incorporated into her own teaching curriculum. So she is going to share some information about Brain Gym, the Brain Gym program, with us this evening. And I thank you very much, Rita, for taking the lead this evening. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, yes, I started teaching way back in 1972. Taught for 39 and a half years. And my first 15 years was basically special education. And then I started going into the regular classrooms and taking grade 3 and 4. But in many of my classrooms, we had special needs. And because my principals knew that I was a special education teacher, they kind of like put a lot of special needs students in my classrooms. And at times I would have up to 3 assistants in my classroom. And so I had to really think of activities that would start the morning off for all the children and wake them up, because I never knew what they had gone through in the morning, if they had breakfast before they came to school, if they had any stressful activities happening before they came to school. So I reached out to Paul Dennison, is the founder of educational kinesiology, or EduK, as they say, and Brain Gym. And I took a few workshops with people in Lethbridge. I am in Lethbridge, Alberta. And we do have some excellent resource people in Lethbridge, or we used to. Now I haven't reached out to them for quite a while, because I basically retired in 2010 and then started for 4.5 years. I started subbing and in preschool to grow about a grade 8 level. So I took my knowledge with me into all my classrooms that I would sub in also. So basically, Brain Gym is a brain training and body movement program. It's widely considered to be pseudoscience. The Brain Gym program is a holistic system based on the principles of kinesiology and learning theory, developed by a learning specialist, Dr. Paul E. Dennison. And he had his centers in California. In the 1960s is where they started out. Through trial and experience, because Paul actually had challenges himself. So he was looking for something to help him also. He developed a core set of 26 physical activities, which he named Brain Gym activities. EduK was the outcome of over 20 years of experimentation and experiential research by Paul and his wife and his colleague, Gail, beginning in the 1960s. Paul noticed that people who came for help with learning challenges at his remedial learning centers had a postural, physical, or perceptual stresses and inhibitions. Paul and Gail described the independence of movement, cognition, and applied learning as the basis of their work. And in their words, for the last century, education training of classroom teachers has been based on the premise that learning is a mental activity. Physical components of learning, the visual, auditory, and fine motor and postural skills had been almost entirely ignored by the educators. A student who has difficulty in the early grades rarely does better later on unless the physical cause of the stress is somehow addressed. Moreover, since learning is measured by stressful compensations, are often acquired through learner's life, throughout the learner's life. Paul found that the physical activities and the techniques he was developing could sometimes ease the compensatory patterns that had arisen in the clients or students, and encouraged coordination and integration movements and patterns. As the physical blocks released, learners were better able to express their innate intelligence and abilities. Educate draws on the techniques and tools from a number of different disciplines, including behavior, optometry, kinesiology, postural alignment therapies, learning theory, and sport. In the 26 brain gym activities, the movements, exercises, or activities recall movements naturally done during the first years of life when learning to coordinate the eyes, ears, hands, and whole body. Even though it's not fully clear yet why these movements work so well, people in many countries report they bring about perceptual and meaningful improvements. And it was started for students who had challenges, but it has turned into like an everyday thing for a lot of people. They wake up in the morning and they go through a PACE program, which I will have a video on. And even in the corporate world, they have been using these activities and exercises to wake them up in the morning and get them going. Educate is now used by people in over 80 countries to bring balance in their lives and enhance their abilities across a very wide range of areas. The International Educational Kinesiology Foundation is a non-profit organization based in the US. And I will be putting some of these links in the chat, and you can look them up. They're really easy to look up and learn all about educational kinesiology and brain gym. Norma Jean, do you want to show the PACE video, please?
I sure do. I'm just going to turn my volume way up. For some reason, it's hard for you guys to hear the YouTube videos. It's so loud. Okay. Okay, you can see that, everybody?
Yes.
Yep. Norma Jean, there's one thing that might help is there's a volume right in YouTube as well as on your computer. And if they're both up, it usually helps.
Say that one more time, Marianne. There's a what?
There's a volume in the YouTube as well as on your computer. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yep. There.
Hello. Today I want to introduce you to a warm-up for learning in the Brain Gym program called PACE. PACE is an acronym that stands for Getting Positive, Active, Clear, and Energetic. And when we do these 4 movements together, we actually start with the E, getting energetic, and we work our way backwards. So we're going to begin with the E. The movement for getting energetic is sipping water. So take a moment, push pause, go get a glass of water, and have a sip. So far, so good. That's pretty simple. The second part of PACE is getting clear. And this activity is brain buttons. And so we take one hand and we put it on our belly button. Our other hand goes right under our collarbone. That's your top rib. You're on either side of the sternum. Your sternum is the vertical bone down the middle. Your collarbone is the horizontal bone across the top. So you're right in the right angles of that capital T. You can rub that top hand, and while you're doing so, take your eyes and move them side to side as if you're reading a book. This is called eye tracking. So I'm going to take my eyes and move them one side over to the other side. Continue. Okay, I wonder if you remember to keep breathing. Who was holding their breath? Let's switch hands. Other hand on top, right underneath that collarbone. We're going to rub and we're going to move our eyes side to side. And this time we're going to make sure we're breathing. So we're going to take a breath in and move our eyes from one side to the other. Breathe in. Now we're ready for the third activity. It's to get us active. We've got everything figured out. We know where our top and our bottom is, our left and our right. This kind of answers that question of where am I? Really good for those little children that seem to crash into things and don't seem real self-aware of where their body is in space. So now we're ready to get active with the activity called the cross crawl. So what we do is we lift one leg, and we take our opposite arm and we bring them together. And then we switch. It's kind of like walking. We want to make sure our shoulder is moving and our opposite hip is moving. We ask our preschoolers about skipping all the time. So look at a skip. It's the same as a cross crawl, except it involves leaving the earth and coming back. So this is just a little less vigorous, requires a little less space. You can do it standing in one place. For our young children who aren't able to do this yet, we just invite them to crawl on the floor. Even our toddlers and preschoolers still appreciate an invitation to crawl. They might want to act like an animal, move like an animal. You can find some music. This is really good because if I'm moving both sides of my body, that means both sides of my brain are working as well. When that feels like enough, we're ready for the fourth activity. We're going to get positive. The activity involves crossing your ankles and place your weight evenly on both sides. Now extend your hands out in front of you, thumbs are down, cross, clap, down and up, and breathe. Notice how everything is right on the midline. My hands are on the midline, my legs are on the midline, my feet, everything is right on the center, and that's our goal here. This often is very calming, especially to children. When that feels like enough, uncross your feet, unhook your hands, and just bring them together. Just touching your fingertips together. Gently, softly. This is often a time when I invite children to sit down, get ready for the lesson, so they may take this opportunity to get out whatever materials they need for the lesson. All right, thank you for joining me for PACE.
Well, that was cool. You want to try that? Yeah?
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing in the morning. And also with PACE, with the cross crawls, you can do all different kinds. You can go to your ankles. You can go to your ankles. You can go and put your feet in the back of you, you know, one at a time. Yeah, we usually do that. This is just very basic that she was doing there. But the kids loved it every morning. And I had water in my classroom all the time for the kids, filtered water, mind you. So that's what we started out with, a glass of water in the morning. and going through these activities. And I actually really noticed a great difference in their learning after that. They were ready to learn. They had exercise, their brain was awake and ready to go. So some of the basic concepts behind Educate.
Brainworks is made possible with generous support provided by the Dean Wooder Foundation, working to expand innovative K-12.
Sorry, don't know where that came from.
Okay. Learning is an innate gift we are all born with. True learning is an experience that involves the body as well as the mind. Educate helps us reclaim our natural joy and sense of adventure in learning. And I want to mention one thing here, that some teachers get in this mode of drudgery, the same old thing all the time. And once they, and I know teachers have told me this, once they started this Educate program and Brain Gym program, their zest for teaching was awakened. And it was great. All my student teachers over the 35 years I taught, they all learned Brain Gym. And when they went into teaching, they would come back to me and say the same thing. That's what we started with, and the kids just loved it from all grade levels. When we learn more about ourselves, it empowers us to make changes and achieve our potential. Learning to move more freely enhances our ability to release old, effortful patterns. Our attitudes and beliefs are reflected in our posture and movements. And we can use specific movement techniques to make positive changes. To finish off, I'm going to borrow some of Marianne. Marianne's summed up some of the key takeaways that she didn't know I was going to use. May I use them? Parents need to show their love of their children by getting down to the child's level, playing with them at whatever age level they are. They need to learn these movements also, not just put the child in front of a video and tell them to learn that way. They need to actually do it themselves so their children know that they are with them in the same, at the same level there. They're all learning the same thing at the same time. The child is the curriculum. Teach to the child, not the curriculum. We all know that. We all know that. Brain Gym ties into the idea of tapping into the natural intelligence that each child has. So the cross crawls, I just want to tell you what the cross crawls accomplish. They accomplish improved left-right coordination, enhanced breathing and stamina, greater coordination and spatial awareness, enhanced hearing and vision. It helps the students with spelling, writing, listening, reading, and comprehension. The positive, there's some other ones that exercises that I used to do all the time. It's called the energy yawn. Now, I don't know if you want to do this right now. Yeah, okay. Norma Jean, you gave me the nod and we're going to do it. All right. So I'm just going to walk you through it and you do the things that I ask you to do. So while pretending to yawn, you close your eyes tightly and massage the areas covering the upper and lower back molars. You massage it, okay? Okay, a deep, relaxed, yawning sound. You've got to make a sound now. A yawning sound is made while massaging the muscles. Repeat this, we'll repeat this 3 times, but it can be done 3 to 6 times. And the kids love making noise in the morning. People thought going by my room, they, what the heck? Don't you feel alive now? Okay. Now, the energy yawn, what they accomplish is improved expression and creativity, improved balance, and relaxed thinking during mental work. There's another ones that we used to do all the time, and we used to also do them at the board. And these were called lazy eights. So we used to, okay, you get a center, you center your thumb, and then you're going to go counterclockwise and make a lazy eight and follow your thumb. Follow your thumb right down to your navel, almost down to your waist. And then cross the midline, up, down, up the midline, to the right, following with your eyes. Okay, and you can do this probably 3 or 4 times, or as many times as you want. But we used to do it with chalk on the chalkboard too. And it was, they loved doing that, especially in different colored chalk. So these, what that accomplished was it teaches visual attention and improves ocular motility skills needed for reading. It helps with the mechanics of reading, left to right eye movement, right? Okay, then there was these other ones. There's one more we're going to do. It's called, they're positive points, okay? So you lightly touch the points above each eye, halfway between the eyebrow and the hairline, and with your fingertips of each hand. And you use just enough pressure to pull the skin taut and hold the contact for about a minute. Okay. That's good. So what that teaches, accomplishes, it helps with organizational abilities, recall, study skills, test performance, and sport performance, public speaking, stage performance, and reading out loud. And there's so many of them that you can do. We did all kinds of finger games too. When the kids were getting antsy and in their seats, we used to actually, it was just right after lunches we used to do this. Some of these finger exercises. And the finger exercises are not exactly brain gym, but they do build the brain. They do exercise the brain. So maybe, Norma Jean, do you want to put those on?
Yes, yes, I do. Maya wasn't distracting me at all. Yes, she was. I'm going to blame the child. Okay. All right. Oh, hang on here. I gotta move this out of the way. It was this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Yes.
Oh my God, that was hard.
Yeah, well, they had to focus. They had to focus. And even after lunch, when their tummies were full, you know, and sometimes people, adults, tend to fall asleep. Right? So yeah, this would make them focus and be ready for whatever the subject was next. So so that is my part today. And what I'd like to do is in the chat, I'm going to put a few websites. I'm going to put Dr. Dennison's book, Brain Gym and Me, Reclaiming the Pleasure of Learning. I'll write that in there. I'll be putting the breakthroughs. Now it's breakthroughs international.org, not breakthrough, because there's another breakthrough. So it has to have the S in there. Make sure it's S. And then braingym.org. There's a Canadian brain gym organization also. So I'll put that in there. And at least the PACE YouTube, and if I get chance, the Finger YouTube channel.
I just put those two videos in the chat just now.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So while I'm doing that, I'll just listen. Thank you.
So that was pretty cool. I don't know, did anybody try those hand exercises? Yeah, so that one where the thumb was going and so that one, that's the Itsy Bitsy Spider. I didn't have trouble with that one, but the one where the thumb was going one way and the baby finger, I'm like, and she was fast. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
And I should also say that in my class, we used a lot of music to do all the brain gym activities too. You know, they loved all different kinds of music.
I was really surprised when you were talking about, okay, well, this activity increases their ability to, and it seems so unrelated, and yet it, you know, it makes sense on the other hand too,
Yeah.
because it is all that both sides of the brain working together type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Rita. That was super cool.
Welcome. Welcome.
Anybody have any anything to add to that? Maya? Was your hand up, hon? Did you try any of those exercises?
I tried all of them except the like one where you went like this and this on one hand because it was too hard.
That's what I just said. That was too hard for me too. So we have matching glasses and we found the same one hard. We're like twins, you and I, really. Hard to tell us apart. Which one was your favorite then?
I like this one.
Yeah.
It was really hard when I went to like my middle finger.
I found the fourth one the hardest. That was the tough one for me.
Yeah, the third finger was hard.
You thought the one was too? Anybody else got anything to add?
I was actually just logging into a course that a parent of mine shared with me. It's all about training the mind and memory, and they also have a set of finger exercises. So I just logged in, and I can share the screen with everybody if.
Oh, great!
Do, and I can let me see if I can share screen here. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
So it's interesting, right? And it's in English, but all the videos are actually in Russian. It's a Russian course. So let me see.
Для того, чтобы привести мозг в тонус и подготовить его к продукции.
Okay, I'm going to mute it. I don't know how many people here understand Russian, but not a very popular language at the moment. I think there's actually illustrations too to go with it. But the stuff that these ladies do are insane. Like, they're so fast. Let me see if I can click on. I mean, it seems to be similar. Rita, it seems to be similar to what you were talking about with Brain Gym, as far as massaging the head and, you know, preparing.
So Simon, what she was doing with the ears are called brain buttons.
Right.
Right.
So I think there's some diagrams here. The first exercise is called stone duck. So it's thumbs and the hands go side to side. Then there's this one, fig in, they call it. This one looks interesting. And they have, so I think this is similar to the thumb and pinky one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they have, it gets really advanced. I watched one video where it got, I think she shows just those 5. But there was another series that was showing something similar. And this site actually, it's called Advance. And all the text is in English, I believe. But unless you know how to speak Russian or understand Russian, it won't help you much. But there's a bunch of modules, and it's pretty fascinating how the focus, again, this isn't my my account. This is a parent's account. They shared it with me. But for example, this one's all about development of memory and attention. And so they have a whole series of, like you could see, lessons going forever. And you know, multiple topics. So if I go to lesson 1, this is all of lesson 1. In any case, it's a really cool resource, and I've been trying to pick away at it, but the videos are really long and it takes a while, so I've been taking notes. But it includes those types of things that I think Brain Gym does. So I don't know what the origin of these exercises are, but there's obviously, like, it must have originated somewhere beyond, you know, this and maybe Brain Gym. Like, they may have adopted it from something.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different brain activities. As I was doing my research again, and their takeoffs of educational kinesiology, a lot of different ones, and it's great. It's great that they do their own thing and take a little bit from here, a little bit from there. It's super. Yeah.
I have a friend in Budapest that I met through an educational group, and she does something that's called KMS, I think, but it's very similar, the same idea. And she just swears by it. She thinks it's amazing. So I'm gonna reach out and see if I can get some more information from her about that too. I mean, it all makes sense, doesn't it? That it all connects. And yeah, that was cool. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share about that, or an experience that you had with it? Your thoughts on it? No? We have a quiet crowd tonight. Everybody's tired. That's okay. Brian, were you about to say something and I interrupted you?
Well, there's been something that's been playing on my mind this evening, and this is just really a little bit off topic, but and Maya may be able to, well, maybe she can't relate to this, but as children grow up, they are like a sponge to learn. And as you get older, that sponge, it's dampened. Your ability to learn as you get older is weaker. When you're young, and if you wanted to do something like at a super, super high level for the rest of your life, you can take in so much when you're young. Now, I don't want to take away from teachers, that a lot of them are in this room, but it seems to me that sometimes their best intentions to teach might even be hindering their ability to take in education. And I just know that there's a lot of people in here are very passionate about trying to help children with their education. But I just know that children, like when they're young, they learn stuff so fast, like it's amazing. And as you get older, and like for me, this is one of the problems I had in school, it wasn't stimulating me to learn. Yeah. A lot of the stuff in school really dampened my drive to learn.
Remember that?
I listened to, say, Simon, and a lot of the people in here are very passionate about all of this stuff. And I love it. Like the new education system, as we talk about what can come out of all of this, can only be far better than the experience that I had when I was in school. And even these hand-eye coordination things, I understand, because even when I was young too, I was artistic, and it is hand-eye coordination, and you have to learn these things. And this is all good stuff. But this has just been something that popped into my head, and I knew this when I was young, and then I heard people talking about it too. When you are young, you can just absorb so much. Now, the last thing we want to do is dampen that sponge so that, or hinder the young child's ability to learn, because that's honestly, I felt that way when I was in school, that I was hindered from my full potential. That I yield.
Yeah, and I don't think that your story is, you know, a rare story. I think it's very common, and it's, in your case, it was because you were bored, and in a lot of kids' cases, it's because they're not being taught in a way that makes sense to them. Not that they're not intelligent or whatever, it's just that they're not getting taught in the way that works for them. But do you remember that NASA study that we talked about that one time? I think it was
very, very relative.
Yeah, Tammy brought that up about how they developed a test for genius, and they gave it to 4 and 5-year-olds, 6,000 of them, I believe it was, and 98% of them rated as genius level. 5 years later, it dropped down significantly. I can't remember. It was like crazy. And by the time they were in their 30s, yeah, it was 5% or 3% or something. So yeah, and that's why we meet, right? To look at ways to do this and that are going to be better, and not squash that curiosity, that ability to take it all in. And yeah, you're right. Thanks.
Now, Simon, he's talked a little bit about too, the students, they actually somewhat direct what they want to learn and the direction that they want to concentrate on. And I think other education subjects have been in that area too. And once a child has a passion for something, you have a hard time stopping them from taking it deep with that A yield.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about. And then putting everything else around whatever their passion is. Thanks, Brian. Joanne, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. I have to disagree as usual. Yeah, I spent my life like rebelling. It's all right. I did it the whole week. It's fine. So if you've read any of those books about the plasticity of the brain, I think you're wrong, because you have those yoga teachers who do yoga till they're 100. You remember that woman? So Brian, you should never give up. If you were in my class, I would say you can learn it. Honestly, I think that anybody, except for me on a bicycle. Okay, I take that back a little bit. I think it is possible to, you know, you've had this book, I forget the name, I'll find the title, but it's got all these case studies of people who have come back from strokes and all sorts of other things, and they've learned and they've been able to regain those skills. I think you are right, Brian, that in the past, if you were designated with some label, unfortunately, you were living that label. And psychiatrists and other people today still try and do that, unfortunately. They should not be around. And, you know, I really do not like those people. You know, when I meet psychiatrists, I hate to say this, but I always tell them I don't like them. Mostly. Then they have to prove to me that they don't react like everybody else. Peter Bregan and many other people do not use those labels. And I was in a school, not this week, I think it was. And when I got introduced to the class, one of the girls said, oh, this is so-and-so, she's autistic. I said, stop that with the label. We're all something. You know, so you introduce me as a label and then I become the label. You know, so, and I think nowadays many children are having so many experiences. This week, one last story, they said to me, Miss Melman, can you take off your mask? I want to see your face. So I took off my mask. So they said, oh, that looks strange. Then they said, do you want to see my smile? And I had a whole lot of girls showing me their smile. It was quite funny. So I think we're in for tomorrow the masks are coming off in BC and all this kind of thing. So it should be interesting after spring break to see what happens with the schools. So Brian, my message to you is this weekend, go and try and do something that you thought you were bad at, and you'll see you can do it. Well, that's good. You got a smile, so that's good. Okay, thanks.
I actually think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Rita, but I think I read that Brain Gym is being used for like Alzheimer patients, and like it's being used. It started off as a remedial thing for kids that were struggling with their learning, but it's morphed into something. It's for everybody and for all cognitive advancement, right? So
definitely, we all need it,
especially as we get older.
Yeah.
Just like, do you see the book I have here? Can you see it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, lots of brain books. Sarah and Maya.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I have a question that really anybody can answer, and there can be multiple answers. I am currently in grade 1, and my mother has sent a text message to me.
Okay, so Maya is in a situation where she does not wish to be in public education, and we're looking for support in helping us to find options that are solid. Okay, take it. That's what.
Okay.
And anybody can answer the question.
Have you guys looked on the portal? Because there's an organization that are called Freedom Teachers BC, and they are specifically helping parents connect with educators and form learning pods and micro schools and stuff. So I know that there is that option. And I think that there's a couple other programs within the Lower Mainland. No, sorry, you guys are in Alberta? You're in Alberta.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
We're in Calgary,
Right.
Alberta, Canada.
I gave you the wrong one. So there's 2 that I know of in Alberta. There is Freedom Teachers Alberta, and they're on the portal. And then there's another one called Alberta Educators for Human Rights, I think. And they, so the first one is really looking at helping parents connect to educators and find a physical space. The second one is more of like a membership, and it does help you make connections, but it also has like resources, and like they had an education convention last week or the week before with lots of guest speakers. And so that might be a place for you to start. And they're both on the portal.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
You'll find their contact information. They have their websites on there, and then you can reach out to them.
It's a great place to start. Did you want to share anything else?
I see lots of hands up, so if anybody wants to share, they can. But I'm not sure if they're for different topics or my topic.
I think they're for different topics.
Different topics. They're for their own questions. So you have the floor right now, and you can share anything else that you'd like to ask.
Would anybody else like to share anything about my topic?
When I was in grade 1, me and another child, we ran ahead. And I started the grade 3 book when I was in grade 1. So there wasn't like a teacher telling us what to do. We just went ahead, and it was different when I was young, I guess. They didn't slow us down. We ran ahead. And then when I was in grade 2, I was still in grade 2. So there was no stimulation for me to go ahead because I'm being bored, held back, because I'm still in grade 2. So I do believe that if you want, you can run ahead, and you can find a lot of things that if you're stimulated to learn, you can get your school books, and you can go ahead and take what you can learn, and you have your tests, and you can do all that stuff, and you can you probably need some guidance, and maybe mom might be able to help, maybe a tutor, maybe other things, whatever it takes. This is one of the problems that I had, and this is part of my conversation already. Like, I ran ahead, and I was unstimulated by the teaching process when I was in school. I tried to go ahead, and it was unrewarding. With that, I yield.
Yeah, and I also run parent workshops as well to help parents with ways to teach their kids as well. But I'm also on the portal. You'll find me there.
Okay.
James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, James.
Always an honor to be here. And I just wanted to offer some comments to regarding what Brian said. So why do children learn faster? Well, there's not just one answer, but there's different perceptions in how you look at it, because no matter what you look at, it's like a hologram. When you look at it from different angles, you see different perceptions. One of them is the brain waves. So children naturally, like there's beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Delta is when we're sleeping at night and we're not dreaming. Theta, the lower bandwidth of theta, is when we're sleeping at night, but we're dreaming. Upper bandwidth of theta is often deep meditation. Alpha is daydreaming, and beta is full awake and you're going about your material world. Children are naturally in theta. Theta alpha, it's their natural brain waves. As time goes on and Western world society conditions us to always be on the go and unconsciously program us to worry about tomorrow, have guilt about yesterday, and forget about now, our brain waves go up to more beta. And if they stay in beta, it's hard for us to learn. And that's just the way programming of society is. So if we can train ourselves to go lower our brain waves down to alpha, at the very least, and we get down to theta, we can learn faster. And so that's something that we can learn. So if you want to learn something new as an adult, slow down your brain waves. Great thing, deep breathing before you learn a new subject, meditation before you learn a subject, and meditation after you learn that subject, or deep breathing after. So you create that holistic sandwich, right? Subject matter in the middle, holistic practices on the outside to calm, bring yourself into the moment and lower those brain waves. And I've also, back in 2011, I taught Qigong at a seniors residence. It was my grandmother's seniors residence. So I went in there every other Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 10:30. Prior to that, they would have their exercise class from 9:30 to 10. So I come in, have to work with the seniors to teach them Qigong. Well, not only did they learn it well, but by the time 10:30 came around, they all had more energy after than they did before, because Qigong literally means cultivating internal energy. And my students, their age range was 83 to 101. And the woman who went from age 100 to 101, she did not want to take the regular exercise class. She took my exercise class. Why? Because I didn't teach Qigong first. That was the third thing I taught. Well, I used entertainment, engagement, humor, and then I taught Qigong, because I knew I got to get their brain waves lower. I got to get them in the moment. I got to get them in harmony. And that's exactly the environment that I created. And then and only then did I teach Qigong. So I often stopped and threw out some humor, threw out some remarks, threw out some empowering comments on how they have the power to do it. And it turned out to be really good. And I had the most popular class at the residence that year. And I did teach it for only a year. It was a test pilot for myself. How can Qigong really work with seniors? And I believe I proved my case that they can learn it and they can enjoy the process and they can actually create energy out of it. It won't drain them. It'll we get their chi or their energy flowing as well. So no matter what our calendar age is, we can learn, and we can learn fast as long as we have passion, interest, desire, and hopefully we have an engaging, charismatic teacher to make that enthusiasm contagious as well. So I just wanted to share that whole brainwave perception, because I learned that in hypnosis school. In hypnosis, when you bring someone down into hypnosis, you get them down to the alpha theta, depending upon the individual. But hypnosis, how I work with it, it's not therapy. It's not, because that implies something broken and needs to be fixed. I work with people where they're powerful creators and I'm here to teach them something new. And in hypnosis, they're going to learn it faster. Their eyes are closed. They're focused solely on me, and I teach them new perceptions, and I get it from the brain down to the heart. And once it's in the heart, it becomes a reality. So remember, no matter what our calendar age is, we can always learn, and we can even learn fast, but desire. And if we have a great teacher, that also seals the deal as well. So again, do not identify with your calendar age, because it'll put you in box. So I get people to realize, no matter what your age, see yourself as an ageless, timeless spirit having a human experience, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So with that, I yield, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
You're always allowed to speak. Thank you for speaking. No, that's right. That's great. And we have to look at ways that we can do that with kids. I think, like, going forward in our model is how do we get them in that state so that we can.
I have some great ideas for that, which I'll share as time goes on as well. So yeah.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. Rita.
There you go. I was going to say to Brian, just going back to my classrooms, I was sort of like all the black sheep of every school I was at, because I taught to what the children wanted to learn. We did projects according to what the children, what their interests were. And so we would have, probably a dozen or more different projects going on at one time. And that really kept my classroom going. We used to do different methods of learning math. We used to do the Japanese way of learning multiplication, and anything I could get my hands on that was different and that would bring out the interests and the skills and the creativity of the children in the classroom. That's what I would do. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and more teachers need to really teach to the children's interests, and that way children are not bored. If a child is acting out in the classroom, it's not the child's fault. They're bored, and they're just looking for something creative to do. But the system says, a lot of times the system says, you've got to do what everybody else is doing, and that is so boring. So for me, every year my husband and children had to pay the penalty of it, but I did not want to do the same thing every year in the different subjects and how I went about doing them. And I would usually spend a lot of time during the summer creating different ways of teaching the same old drab subjects. But that's what, university doesn't teach you that. The university, when you go and do student teaching, they don't teach you to be creative, and they don't teach you how to bring the creativity and the artistic ability they don't teach that. So hopefully in our new creation of the education system, teachers are going to teach differently. Because my grandchildren are coming up, and boy, those teachers better do something, or I'm going to have to, lay my foot down. I yield.
I think that it is changing, and like even as teachers are coming out of university, I think that now they're learning about multiple intelligences, and whereas I don't think they used to. But they still need good examples. So anyways, thank you very much, Rita.
Yeah.
Grace.
Good evening, everyone. So just a little bit to add to the conversation, and I agree with most of what you've all said, but there's another factor also involved in the children. And what I learned was that children that are born to parents that have not good health, good nutrition, also have a little bit of less ability to learn. And then as you get older, because of all the processed foods, the air, the water, and all that kind of stuff, when you have all those toxins in your body, it's also very hard to learn. And I learned this, and they've actually done some stats on it. There's a book called Boys Adrift, and also there's Girls Adrift too. It's two books, and the Boys Adrift, I actually learned a lot about how boys are in school and what they need. Boys are different to teach in school, and I'm sure that you teachers already know that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But good nutrition is part of it also, and I yield with that.
Thank you, Grace. Absolutely, nutrition has everything to do with it, for sure. DK.
Yes, good morning, good evening, everyone. Okay, I don't see Maya there anymore. I wanted to speak to her question. Maybe they'll see the recording. I was going to say, I think she said, or her mother said on her behalf that she wanted to explore outside the public school system. So I wanted to commend her on knowing herself well enough to, you know, to make that, to announce that request or desire. And one thing I was going to suggest, I've mentioned before, is that you can still be in the public school system, I think, and use, you know, like homeschooling to augment the public schooling system. So it's just an idea that I had. Also, there are many, not that I want people to spend, you know, too much time online, but with so many videos out there, it's very easy to become what's called an autodidact, like a self-taught person. So that's another possibility too. So with that, I yield. I just wanted to offer those thoughts. Oh, so you're muted, Norma Jean.
I can't go a whole meeting without doing that at least once, right? Thank you, DK. And you're right. Right now, I'm actually supporting a family, a little girl who's in grade 2. So most of her school career, she's been wearing a mask, and so she's lost a lot of her self-confidence and stuff. But now they're doing the blended program, so homeschool 3 days a week, in school 2 days a week. But mom's got 3 kids, and she doesn't, right? So. And so that's what we're doing. I'm helping her help her child by teaching her some skills around that. And that is a good, but what was it? What did you call the other, what did you call it when someone is self-taught? What's that word?
Autodidact. It's AUTODIDACT.
Oh.
Autodidact.
Oh, that's easy for you to say.
Okay. I was looking at the DuckDuckGo, you know, right. Site. So yeah, autodidact, self-taught person.
Oh. All right. It's hard to find kids nowadays that are motivated to do that, but I think that that's where we're heading, right? That's part of the plan, is to create that desire with kids that's been kind of lacking. But thanks, TK. Garth. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anyone on here has heard of or listened to. It's a 14-hour teaching of the word interest, and it's you listen like 1 hour a day. I'll have to see if I can find it, and I'll somehow get it available to you, but it's just an audio, and it explains how we can get your interest values on multiple subjects and see which one of your interests are the highest. At that point, whichever one is the highest interest that you have, that's the subject you'll learn way faster. Like, you'll absorb it like a sponge, and it's just amazing how you can prioritize each subject to what you want and raise that interest level. I'll have to see if I can find it for you. It definitely worked for us. for each one of us, like myself and my two sons, and it's amazing. Thank you. I yield.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I put my email in the chat, Garth. So if you want to jot it down or save the chat, then you can send it to me. If you find it, that'd be great. So is it kind of like I'm not coming up with the right word, but I want to say personality, but it's more of an aptitude, kind of like an aptitude test that you take that would allow you to sort of discover where your innate abilities and interests are? Is that the idea?
Yeah, it definitely worked for us. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. That's cool. Yeah, if you come across it, just go ahead and send it to me, or you can always find me through the education portal as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Rita, you were cautioned not to use DuckDuckGo?
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Somebody said they were censoring like crazy now and not to go on it. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, Okay, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add this evening? Thank you, everyone who came. Again, I apologize for not getting the email out today. I just completely forgot. I did put it on social media, but then I forgot to send the email out. So if you're on here and you haven't given me your email and you want to be added to the list, go ahead and pop it in the chat. I usually do send out an email every week to let you know what our topic is going to be and give you the link to the Zoom so you don't have to go searching for it. So thank you to everyone that came this evening. Again, if you have any way, or you can, think of a way that we can do outreach with the portal, that would be great. The more we are using it, the better. Really love to see it getting used and helping people. So anyone have anything they'd like to add before we say goodnight then? I feel you have one thing you'd like to say before you leave.
There you go, take the stage. Kind of. My mom sent me up to this. I just want to say to everybody that was here tonight, thank you for your voices.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your voice. You know what? We honestly love it when you join us because it's so nice to get a perspective from the kids, right? That's what we're all working towards. Yeah.
Everybody's been
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We honor your voice, Maya. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so hard.
I see 2 thumbs ups now. The thumbs ups are gone. I don't know where they went. And I see 1 heart.
On poof. All right. So my red glasses, I wear them when I'm learning about sight words. So words.
Oh, geez.
Sight word glasses. I think I'm kidding. I do. I wear them.
He's from Mexico at a party.
Oh, okay. Well, they look like they could be super powered sight word glasses as well.
Oh,
awesome. All right, guys.
Glasses.
Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and I shall see you next week, everyone. Rita, thank you so much for being the lead tonight. Much appreciated. And anybody, if you something you want to share, please. We are always looking for someone to share what you know and take over for the topic of the evening. It's always appreciated. Okay.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Everybody, you're loved.
You are too.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.